And good morning, welcome. I'm back feeling super refreshed from St. Lucia. Got a nice little tan going, and I've missed you all. Um, didn't get a lot of movement in, so today's gonna be a nice, fun, slow flow. We're gonna get our bodies nice and warmed up in our yoga flow as a warm up. So for today, we'll need a set of blocks. Of course, if you don't have blocks, there's not a problem at all. You can use pillows, you can use some sort of book. Just make sure the book is not open as you're holding on to it. In addition to the blocks, we will have a set of light weights. If you don't have light weights, no worries at all. You do have those weights. Let's go ahead and put them on our ankles. We'll use them for the entire duration of the class. So for today, we're going to be on our mat. So get nice and cozy in your area. Again, we're going to be on the floor. We're not going to be standing in any of our positions. I looked at my notes and make sure. Yep, we're going to be on the floor. So let's start today in a child's pose. Bringing your knees wide, drawing your toes to touch, sinking your hips towards your heels. Now, of course, if you have those ankle weights on, it can become distracting at any point in time. Just go ahead and set them off to the side. You can take them off. You can place them on your wrist if you would like. We're going to come into our child's pose, sinking our forehead down towards the floor. You can also place a block underneath your forehead if that is more comfortable for you today. Holding here and breathing, arms extended out long, just holding and breathing, hips pressing in towards your heels, fingertips stretching out long past the crown of your head. Again, a block can be under your forehead, bringing that earth closer towards you. Deep inhales, filling all the way to the top, filling your belly, your ribs, and lungs. Hold it at the top. Exhale through your mouth, lungs, ribs, and belly. Full exhale. Notice your belly sinking closer to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, filling your belly, ribs, and lungs. Hold it at the top. Exhale, lungs, ribs, and belly. Complete that for 2 more rounds of breath here. Just like that. Full inhale, full exhale. Belly, ribs, and lungs. Hold it at the top. Full exhale. Once you let out every last bit of breath, maybe rock your head from side to side, left to right, right to left. Come back to the center. You can tempt your fingers by lifting your palms off the floor, pressing your finger pads in towards the ground, lifting your forearms up. Still actively pressing your hips in towards the floor, forehead on the floor or on a block. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards one another. Deep inhale. On your exhale, release your palms back down. From here, bend your elbows, bringing your palms to touch. You are welcome to hold it here, or if you would like, you can draw your thumbs to the nape of your neck, feeling that stretch along your triceps. Hold it for 1 more inhale. On the exhale, release your hands back down to the floor. Walk your hands over to the right side. To increase the sensation, gently rotate your left shoulder down towards the floor. To decrease that sensation, gently rotate your right shoulder down to the floor, lifting your left off. Noticing that stretch all along the left side body. Walk your hands back through center, walking them this time over to the left side of your mat. To increase that sensation, gently rotate your right shoulder, right armpit down towards the floor, lengthening that right side body. To decrease that sensation, you can lift that right shoulder up and gently rock onto that left shoulder. Come back to center. Hold it here for one more breath. Gently rise up to a tabletop position, stacking your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. From here, we're going to tuck our toes, hammock your belly down to the floor as you inhale, gaze up towards the ceiling. Untuck your toes as you scoop and arch, round your spine, deep exhale. Gaze towards the tops of your thighs. Come through neutral spine, tuck your toes as you inhale, gaze up. Exhale as you untuck your toes, scoop and arch, round your spine. Deep inhales, deep exhales here. Come through neutral spine, tuck your toes, deep inhale. Hammock your belly down towards the floor, gaze up. Spiral your elbow creases in. On your next exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine. Do that a few more times with your own breath. Inhale, tuck the toes, lift the gaze. Exhale to round your spine. Nice and warm here. All right, on your next exhale, gently release your shoulders, coming to a neutral spine, back is flat. From here, lift your left arm high towards the ceiling. Draw it under and through the right side body. You can also place a block under your right hand. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw the left arm under and through the right side body. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw that left arm under and through the right side body. Option to place a block under your left ear or cheek, or just rest it gently on the floor. You're welcome to extend that right arm directly out in front. You can also bind that right hand around towards your left hip, allowing your right shoulder to open up more. Placing that right hand where you need it the most on that right side. On your next inhale, if you have that right hand binded or extended, place it back under your right shoulder. Inhale, lift your left arm high. Exhale, release it down under your left shoulder. Option to move that block under your left wrist if you like, or keep the left wrist on the floor. Inhale, right arm up high towards the ceiling. Exhale, scoop it under and through the left side body. Inhale to lift. Exhale, reach it under and through. Once more on the left side with the right hand. Inhale, right arm high. Exhale, reach it under and through the left side body. You are welcome to place a block under your right ear or cheek, or just gently placing your right ear or cheek onto the floor. If you would like, you can keep that right hand boxed out under your shoulder. You can also extend that left arm long, or you can bind it around towards your right hip. Binding your arm around towards your right hip allows you to open up your left shoulder, or you can lengthen your back by extending that left arm long. Holding and breathing. If you have that left hand extended or bind it around towards your left hip, go ahead and place it back underneath your left shoulder. Reach your right arm high and release it back down. From here, we're going to tuck our toes, coming back to our tabletop position. We're just going to press our hips back. Just a nice stretch for our feet here. All right, stacking your shoulders back over your wrist, untuck your toes. Spiral your fingers out towards the outer edge of your mat. You can also have them at a 45-degree angle between the sides and the front of your mat. From here, you're welcome to hold it just where you're at. If you would like to deepen that stretch, you can rock side to side, maybe forwards and backwards if that feels comfortable to you today. Come back to center. Spiral your fingertips towards your knees or at any degree between the side of your mat and your knees. You again are welcome to hold it just here if this is a great stretch for you. If you'd like, maybe rock side to side, maybe forwards and backwards. Holding and breathing, just moving from side to side. And then come on back to neutral spine. Bring your fingertips back to the top of your mat. We're going to flip our right palm up towards the ceiling. Left palm stays facing down. You're welcome to hold it here. Maybe rock forwards and backwards or side to side. Come back to neutral. As you're ready, flip your right palm down towards the floor. Flip your left palm up towards the ceiling, maybe rocking forwards and backwards, side to side. Maybe noticing how one side feels different than the others. That's perfectly fine. Holding and breathing. Maybe rocking side to side. Come back to neutral spine. Go ahead and bring your left palm facing down. From here, we're just going to bump our hips side to side. Maybe coming into some barrel rolls. If you'd like, I recommend walking your hands a palm print forward, drawing your hips towards your wrists, and then hips down to one side, hips to heels, over to the other side. And what you do in one direction, make sure you're reversing that direction. All right, from here, hold it in our tabletop position. We're going to extend that right leg straight back. Flex your right toes. Draw your knee towards the same elbow. Kick it back. Knee to elbow. Kick it back. Bird dog crunch, just the right leg. Knee to elbow. Kick it back. Draw it in. Once more, kick it back. This time, draw your knee to your nose, round your spine, and step your foot between your palms. From here, we're going to open up to a supported side plank. So, coming from here, we're going to pivot that leg down, opening up. That inside of your top left foot's pressed in towards the floor. Just holding and breathing. You can place your right hand on the floor or on a block. Cartwheel your arms up as you rise to stand. Arms are up overhead. We're going to bend the elbows, lift your gaze, cactus. Draw it up. 4 more. Bend the elbows, lift the gaze, exhale. Inhale, draw your gaze forward, arms up overhead. Bend and lift. Draw it forward. 2 more. All right, last one here. Reach your arms up high. Cartwheel your right hand down to the floor. And then draw your arms up overhead. Left hand down to the outside of your left leg. Right arm up overhead. Draw both arms up overhead. Cartwheel down. Left arm up. Rise up. Lots of core here, left hand down, right arm up overhead. Even though we're not standing, it's not going to be easy. Right hand down, left arm up, one more time on each side. Rise up, release down. All right, arms up overhead. Release your right hand down, left arm comes up high overhead. We're going to lift and lower that left leg for 5 and 4. That's 3 and 2 and 1. All right, from here, draw your left hand down, thread the needle, and supported side plank. Feel that stretch of your spine. Release your left arm back up towards the ceiling. We're going to lift that left leg high, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that left leg lifted. Release your left hand down to the floor, placing your wrists under your shoulders. We're going to spiral our body coming into a tripod. We're going to step our right foot back in between our hands, right where we started. Walk your foot to the outer edge of your left hand. Your left toes are facing to 10 o'clock. I had to visualize my clock again. From here, we're going to press the hips back, straighten that left leg, and then press the hips forward. We're in our lizard lunge here, so your foot is to the outer edge of your left wrist, allowing your left hip to really open up here. Press it forward and back. One more. All right, few options to play here. You can play or you can stay in lizard. You are welcome to come down onto your forearms. You can lift that back right leg if you would like. You can always, at any point, place your hands under blocks, maybe placing your forearms under blocks, holding and breathing here. You can also hold your upper body upright, down onto your forearms or on a block. Align that left hip to open. You can tuck your right toes, lifting your right leg high. All right, if you have that right knee lifted, go and release it back down on the floor. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. We're going to draw that left leg back. Keep that left knee bent. We're going to draw a few hip circles here on the left side. And then switch. All right, release that left leg down. Coming back to our tabletop position, extend that left leg straight. I know we started with the right side, so we're going to start the left side this time. Draw that knee in towards the same elbow. Kick it back. Try to keep your back flat. You can always place a block on your back if you're wondering, are you arching and rounding your spine? Keep your left toe flexed. Draw your knee to the same elbow. Kick it straight back. Gaze remains between your thumb and index fingers. Knee to the same elbow. Kick it back. On the next one, draw your knee in towards your nose. Plant your foot from here. Just gonna come over, facing this way. From here, rotate your left knee down, left hand down to the floor or to a block. Your right leg extended straight. Your inside of your right foot is into the floor. Left arm down, right arm up high. Holding here and breathing. From here, we're going to lift and lower that right leg for 5 and 4. That's 3 and 2. Last one. Release that right leg down. Carve your arms up high overhead. Shoulders stacked over your hips. Bend the elbows. Lift your gaze. Spread your fingertips wide. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Rise up. Exhale as you bend. Gaze is lifted. 3 more. Gaze comes forward as you bring your arms up high overhead. Spread your fingertips nice and wide. Bring your gaze forward, arms overhead. One more. You've got it. All right, draw your arms back up overhead. Cartwheel your left hand down, right arm stays up high. Draw your arms back up overhead. Right hand down the right leg, left arm crescents over, left bicep to left ear. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Left hand down to the floor, right arm lifts up. Draw both arms back overhead. Right hand down the right side of your leg. Arms up high overhead. One more time on each side. You've got it. Left hand down to the floor or block, right arm reaches up high. Cartwheel your hands, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Right hand down. All right, rise up. Release your left hand down to the floor to a block. We have a supported half moon. Lift that right leg. Holding and breathing. Release that right leg down. Sweep your right arm under and through as you exhale. Feeling that twist in your spine. Draw your right arm back up overhead. Come back to that supported half moon. Bring your right hand down. Draw your body back into that tripod position. Keep the right leg extended. From here, we're going to draw your knee in towards your nose, back to where we started. Step that right foot through. So we're on the opposite leg than when we started. Walk your right foot to the outer right edge of your mat, to the outside of your right hand. Your right toes are turned to 2 o'clock. Press the hips forward, open up your hip, and then draw your hips back towards your left heel. Press it forward, and draw it back. Keep it going. All right, on your next one, you're welcome to grab those blocks if you would like. We're going to come down. Again, you can stay in lizard position in any variation, or join me and you can play in lizard, drawing your forearms down to the floor, maybe to those blocks. Make use of whatever props you have. If you have pillows now, it'd be a great opportunity to come onto those pillows nice and comfy. There is no pressure in whatever pose you are in. You can tuck your left toes, lifting your left knee off of the floor with your forearms down to the floor or on a block, allowing that right hip to open here. Keep the breath going just as we did when we started. All right, wherever you are, walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Draw that right knee back to your hip. Keep it bent. We're going to draw a few hip circles with that right knee. Even though we're not doing anything standing, it's not going to be easy. You know the drill. What you do in one direction, reverse it and do in the opposite. Go ahead and come back to your tabletop position. From here, draw your knees wide, toes to touch. Come back to that child's pose position. Spread your fingers out long in front, stretching long opposite directions of your body. Fingertips in front, hips towards your heels. We're going to rise up, stacking your shoulders directly over your wrists. Keep your knees bent. We're going to lower down for 3, 2, and 1. Release all the way down. Extend your legs. Extend your arms. Draw your arms back under your shoulders. Bend your knees, toes to touch. Knees are still open. Press up for 3, 2, and 1. Press back to child's pose. Let's repeat that 3 more times through. Press forward, shoulders stacked over your heels, over your shoulders. Lower down for 3, 2, and 1. Once you release down, extend your legs, extend your arms. Bring everything back together. Wrists under your shoulders. Press up for 3, 2, and 1. Press back to child's pose. 2 more times through. Press it forward. Lower down. 3, 2, 1. Keep those elbows tucked in. Extend your arms, extend your legs. Draw everything back in. Press up. 3, 2, and 1. Press back to child's pose. All right, one more. Make it your best time yet. Press forward. Hold it here. Catch your breath. Back is flat. Knees are bent. Lower down for 3, 2, 2.5, and 1. Lower all the way down. We're going to send our arms and legs long in opposite directions. Bring your feet hip width apart and parallel. Arms are standing out in front. Arm to shoulder width. We're going to lift and lower for 10. And release. That's 9. And release. 8 more. And release. 7. And 6. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your back, halfway there. Stay with it. Gaze remains down towards the floor. Avoid straining your neck. 3 more. Last 2. And 1 more. All right, release everything down. Just let your forehead rest gently onto the floor. Feel that stretch along your spine, along the nape of your neck. From here, we're going to walk our hands under our shoulders. Release your right arm directly out from your right shoulder. Relax that right leg. Wiggle it if you need to. Lift your left leg high. Draw it up and over as you rock onto the outer edge of your right hip and your right shoulder. Allowing your right shoulder and left hip to open. You can just relax your right ear or cheek onto the floor. Just a nice stretch here. Roll back onto your belly. Once you get there, walk your right hand under your right shoulder. You 1 mini cobra. Press up, elbows stay tucked in. Release down. Extend your left arm out long from your left shoulder. I'm always limited on space on the left side. Right hand stays directly under your right shoulder. Relax that left leg. Wiggle it if you need to. Lift that right leg high and rock to the outer edge of your left hip and your left shoulder. Allowing your left shoulder and right hip to open. Maybe gently placing your left ear or cheek onto the floor. Just holding and breathing here. Enjoying this stretch. All right. On your next exhale, gently rock back to your belly. Once you get there, place your hands under your shoulders. Maybe find your middle section if you had to rock from one side to the next. We're going to extend our arms and legs long, shoulder width, hip width apart and parallel. We're going to lift our feet, bending your toes. From here, extend your right leg and bend. Extend your left leg and bend. 9 more on each side. Your gaze is down to the floor. This is when those weights would come in handy. Maybe point your toes. If you get a cramp like I just did, just flex and then repoint your toes. That's it. 5 more here. Just like that. 5 more on the right, 5 more on the left. You've got it. Stay with it. Find your breath. 2 more. Last one. All right, from here, keep your knees bent. We're gonna roll up, finding our tabletop position. All right, we're going to use that block, or that pillow, or that book, whatever you have. Just one for now. Place that block underneath your left knee. Come back, find your tabletop position. So your left knee is directly under your left hip, your right wrist under your right shoulder, left wrist under your left shoulder. We're going to release that right knee directly under our right hip. We're going to draw our knee towards our nose and kick it back. Point the toes, knee to nose, kick it back. That's it. Full controlled movements here. Gaze remains down between your thumb and index finger. Avoid rounding or arching your spine. Your back remains flat. Even with that block underneath your left knee, squeeze your glute as you extend your right leg straight back. That's it. Keep it going. 4 more just like this. Slow and controlled. Your left toes can be tucked or just relaxed. And 3. That's it. Last 2. Last 1. All right. We're going to extend that leg straight back. Flex your right toes. We're going to lower and lift for 10. Think the slower the better. And 9. That's 8. And 7. You've got 6 more. Stay with it. Abs pulled into your spine. Keep it going. Halfway there. Yes, you can. Squeeze your glutes. Keep that right leg straight. 3 more. All right, 1 more. All right, hold that leg lifted. Point the toes once more. Draw that right leg over to the right. Draw it up and over beyond that left foot, over to the left. Rainbow arches. Your right leg is straight. Your back is flat. Your left knee is just relaxed onto that block. That's 3. Keep it going. Yes, you can. Stay with it. All right, you're halfway there if you're with me. You do not have to bring that right leg all the way up from the hip. Your rotation is going to be dependent on your hip flexor. You can bring it over to the diagonal on either side of your mat. Just tap it on either side, or you can draw it closer directly out from your hip. Give me 2 more. Last 1. All right, draw the knee back in line with the left. Release your left knee from that block. We're going to grab that block and we're going to place it between our thighs. We're going to find our tabletop position again. Wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Tuck your toes. We're going to lift the knees up, bear crawl, and then tap down for 10. And 9. Flat back. 8. And 7. That's 6. 5 more. You've got it. 4. And 3. 2 more. Last 1. All right, release the knees down. Paddle out your toes. Grab that block. We're going to place it under our right knee. We're coming back to that tabletop position. We're going to repeat those exact same 3 moves, this time with the left side. So your right knee is directly under your right hip. On that block, your right wrist under your right shoulder, left wrist under your left shoulder. We're going to take that left knee, draw it in towards your chest, kick it back, point the toes this time, knee to the chest, Kick it back. That's it. You got 8 more. Knee in. And kick. That's 7. Straighten your left leg as much as you can as you kick it straight back. Feeling that stretch in your glute as you draw your knee to your chest, crunching, using your lower abs to draw that knee even closer. Halfway there. Stay with it. Crunch it in. And kick it back. 4 more. Knee in. And extend. Point the toes more. And extend. Keep it going. Inhale to extend. Exhale to crunch. Give me 1 more. On the next one, hold that left leg extended. Flex the left foot. Avoid letting your right hip to open. We're going to lower and lift that leg. Maybe tap it down. Maybe it just hovers the floor. That's it. 8 more if you're with me. And 7. That's 6. Halfway. Yes, you can. Squeeze your glute. Keep that left leg straight. Flex your left toes. Right toes can be relaxed or flexed. You got it. Lift and lower. 3 more. 2 more. Navel pulled into your spine. Last one. Hold it lifted. Point your left toes once again. Draw it over to the side. And then tap it over. Use the space that you have. That's it. 7 more, slow and controlled. I want you to go even slower. Draw it up and back. Up and over. Keep that left leg straight. We're going to bend it after this. And 4. Last 3. And 2. All right, last one. I want you to make it your best yet. All right. Go ahead and draw that knee back in line. Release down. Grab that block, place it between your thighs. Now, that block being between your thighs is going to activate your quads. So squeeze your thighs together. We're going to work the inner and outer thighs here. Come back to your tabletop position. So option 1 is just to hold it in this tabletop. And we're going to tap the right hand to the right knee and release. You got 9 more. Tap it down and release. If you want to make it more challenging, tuck your toes, hover your shins, tap and release. Tap and release, holding that there or holding a tabletop. 4 more. Actively draw your navel into your spine as you lift that right hand. Your back, your knees are not moving. Everything is planted. 2 more. 1 more. All right, plant that right hand back under your right shoulder. Tuck your toes or stay in that tabletop. We have that bear on the left side. Left hand to your left thigh. Tap it down. Left hand to thigh. Tap it down. You can also work from a tabletop position. Don't get lazy with it. Make sure you are actively drawing your navel into your spine. Your back is flat. Keep it going. 4 more. Slow and controlled. Moving here with your breath. That's it. We're going to move to a seated position next. 1 more. and release down. Go ahead and remove that block. We're going to have a seat on our block in Malasana pose. So, if you don't want to use a block, that is fine. You can have one block or you can have two blocks stacked on top of each other. If you'd like, you can have a seat on the blocks. Drawing your knees wide, hands to heart center, toes are turned out, maybe releasing one block at a time until you have no blocks. Holding and breathing. You, of course, can always grab those blocks at any time and place them back down or remove them. We're just holding and breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. From this position, release your right hand down, left arm comes up high towards the ceiling. Looking over towards your left hand, come back to heart center. Left hand down, right arm reaches up. Try to keep your knees wide, knees tracking over your toes, even as you release your hands so my knees don't come in. They're staying nice and wide. This is where the blocks come in handy because you're more upright, you're more supported. So when my hands are here, I'm releasing them down. I'm less likely to draw my knees inward. You want to keep them wide. They stuck together. As you lower your hips towards the floor, whether they're on a single block, if you're using 3 or 4 blocks, try to decrease the blocks as you move, noticing how your body changes. As you draw your hands together and then opening up to the side. That's it. Slow and controlled. Actively pressing your knees open, even without the assistance of your elbows. Let's do one more time on each side. Drop back together. And open. Drop back together. All right, go ahead and release that block. Keep it with you. Oops. Keep it nearby. We're going to lay on our back. All right, we're gonna come onto our back. Let's do some core here. Bring that block between your thighs, rolling all the way down from here. Elbows are wide. We're gonna let our knees fall over to the left. So your shoulders are on the floor. You wanna try to keep that right hip close to the floor. Elbows are wide. We're gonna crunch up and release. Crunch up and release. Give me 8 more. Crunch and release. Squeeze your thighs. Squeezing that block. Knees are still falling over to the left. Shoulders are in the floor. Press up and release. 5 more. Crunch up and release. Exhale on your crunch. Inhale as you release down. Avoid using momentum. 1 more. Come back to center. Draw your feet flat on the floor. Feet are hip width apart and parallel. Knees are up towards the ceiling. If you'd like, you can walk your heels in closer towards your glutes. Elbows are still wide. Shoulders planted into the floor. We have center crunches for 10. And release. That's 9. And release. On the crunch, full exhale. Inhale as you roll down. Feet are grounded. And release. 7 more. Stay with it. Avoid pulling at your head. You can always cross your arms across your chest. If this is also challenging for you, you can grab a weight between your hands, and that weight will assist you rolling up and back down. Halfway. And 3. 2 more. 1 more. Release down. Let your knees fall over to the right. Shift your hips ever so slightly, but not to the point where your left shoulder is off of the floor, in just a laying position. Elbows are wide, or arms crossed over towards the opposite shoulder. We're going to crunch up for 10 and down. Try to draw your left rib cage towards your left hip and back down. 8 more. And release. That's it. Squeeze that block between your thighs. 6 more. And 5. Last 4. And 3. 2 more. And 1. All right, roll back down, come back to center. Plant your feet still with that block between your thighs. Maybe rock your hips side to side. Draw your heels closer in towards your hips. Release your palms facing down by your hips. We're going to lift and lower for 10. Glute bridge, raise and lower. Shoulders are pressed in towards the floor. It's just working your glutes. 8 more if you're with me. Things slow and controlled. Pressing your feet into the floor. And 7. That's 6. And 5. Last 4. 3 more. And 2. And 1. All right, release your hips down. Grab that block between your thighs. Lift your hips up on its lowest setting. Place the block back underneath your hips and allowing your hips to just fall onto that block. Allowing your hips to open. Extend your arms and legs long in opposite directions. Letting your heels touch, toes fall open. Noticing the different sensation you have here. If this bothers you, you can always walk your feet in, keeping your knees bent. You can always draw your hands back down or just holding. You're welcome to hold it here, or if you'd like, you can walk your feet over to the right side, crossing your right ankle over your left. Draw your arms over to the right side, grabbing your left wrist with your right hand, coming into lying crescent moon. On your next inhale, come back through center, release your arms up overhead, walk your feet back to center, walk your heels over to the left side, placing your left heel over your right, stretching your body over to the left side, grabbing your right wrist with your left hand. Crescent moon, lying on the floor to the left side. On your next exhale, come back through center. Release your feet, walk them back to the center. Bend your knees, bringing one leg up at a time, up towards the ceiling. Arms towards the ceiling. Point, flex, circle out your ankle, circle out your wrist. Go ahead and bend your knees, releasing your feet back to the floor. Lift your hips. Release that block off to the side. With your knees bent or your legs straight, we're going to bring our arms overhead. We have one sit-up, slow and controlled, full roll-up. Think the slower, the better. And once you get there, go ahead and find a seated position. Crossing your ankles, drawing the soles of your feet together, whichever is more comfortable. Bring your arms up high overhead, hands to heart center. Fantastic work today, all my fellow friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Amanda. Namaste. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you stretch, drink plenty of water. See you all next time. Thank you.